Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mondays with Meg. I have been looking forward to this all morning, and I am thrilled to have this time with you. I love that we get to start off our weeks together, friend. So, this morning on Mondays with Meg, we are going to be talking about how to recapture your peace in our frantic culture. And isn't that something we're all looking for? I know it is. And so I really hope that you will find that this time together that we are going to have is going to be so helpful for you. So, as always, please leave any comments and questions in the chat. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about what we are going to share this morning because literally it can change your life. Okay, so where we're going to begin today is really with this whole idea of are your thoughts really the problem when it comes to inner peace that you think that they are? All right, here we go. Here's what I will tell you, friend, is that most people that talk about inner peace and creating silence in the mind usually focus on actions to take and things that you can do to get you there, right? I'm sure you've heard this before. But I'm going to start today by saying this. Literally, there is nothing that you must physically do for peace of mind and inner peace to occur. There is so much more for all of us to learn about this. And that is because your inner peace has nothing to do with actually taking action. Whoa, mind blowing, right? I'll tell you, you'll be looking in the wrong direction for it if that's where you want to be headed. And I am going to be showing you today a much simpler way that doesn't require any sort of control or willpower or motivation to connect and stay connected to the very best part of you. And it will absolutely change everything for you if you let it. So let's dive in. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, the first thing that we need to talk about is that your inner peace literally is not dependent on how quiet your mind is. Okay. So, to talk about this, I just want to share that last week I was watching a TV show and there was a scene on the show where the protagonist was writing in her journal. She was contemplating why she still didn't feel at peace, even though everything around her was silent. And that really struck a chord with me because the silence is what most people come to me for when they come to me for coaching, or at least in the beginning of their journey, right? There is a belief that a lot of us have that if we can just silence the noise in our minds, then we'll be okay and we will be at peace. But here's the thing, it is a false premise to assume that silence is what brings inner peace that you crave. Now, don't get me wrong, silence is beautiful. There is no doubt about that. But just as with other things that flow through us, it is not something that is permanent. And that's okay. You have to be okay with that because it is just part of being human. Now, sure, there will be moments of silence and there will be moments where it's like a circus in there with lots of rides and fun activities going on all at once. Or it could be like a horror movie in there, right? You take your pick. It all happens because we are all human, and that is the nature of our minds. It is literally one of the things that signifies that you're human. Your inner peace is and has always been totally separate from this, even though we act like it isn't. It is something that is present even amidst the noise of the circus, and it's also present when there is silence. And this is the key thing that you need to take away from this conversation today. So, with this false premise, we chase the silence. We make the attainment of silence a problem that we need to solve before we can find peace. But what I'm saying to you today is this, there was never a problem to solve in the first place. Your mind is actually working as it should. Okay. It is not broken and it does not need to be wrangled into submission. When you stop making the momentary stories in your mind problems that must be solved, better still, when you stop making them into problems that must be solved before anything else can occur, that is actually when you begin to notice the inner peace that has been there all along. Okay. And ironically, that is why your mind begins to quiet down on its own. The silence then can slide in without having you chase it or force anything into being. Okay. So you really need to hear me. Don't make your thoughts problems that you must solve. Okay. I'll tell you, I get emails all the time with questions along the lines of how do I stop my invasive thoughts? And how do I prevent negative thoughts from even happening? Or how do I stop thoughts about things that happened to me in the past? Or how can I stop my thoughts about things that we did in the past that made us totally uncomfortable? And my response to these questions is almost always, why is that actually the problem that you feel like you must solve? And why can't it just be your mind doing what it does and you just getting on with your business anyway? I don't know if you've ever thought about this before. But I'll tell you, I get it. It feels uncomfortable to witness these thoughts and experience the feelings that come along with them. But it is absolutely human nature for our mind will bring up these things because at some point or another we fixated on them. And this signaled to your mind that these things are important, whether they're actually important to you or not. So your mind keeps giving you reminders about them more often than not. And that is just your mind doing what it does. Your mind believes it is helping you because you've signaled it before with your unyielding focus that that topic is important to you. And I'll tell you, the mind is incredibly smart, but it's also super dumb. Your unyielding focus is what educates your mind and gives it direction about your world and the reality that you want to create. And in the future, given the signal you've already given, your mind will actually try to help you by reminding you about your unrelenting and unceasing focus on those topics. It's not good or bad, it just is what it is. And will you feel uncomfortable because of those thoughts? Of course you will, right? That is the nature of the system. So, knowing all this, can you still feel inner peace despite the temporary noise of the circus? Yes, absolutely, you can. Because, friend, at any time, you can decide not to make any thought or feeling into a problem that must be solved. It is literally a binary choice. So, here is a simple and practical experiment that you can try. Okay. So, when an uncomfortable thought seems to want to take shape and become a full blown drama in your mind, what I need you to do is to tell yourself, I am not going to make this into a problem that I must solve. It will resolve itself without my help. Now, I'll tell you, this simple 1 minute intervention is what always brings me right back to the present and connected to all that I know that I am. Because, yes, I struggle with this just like the next person, guys. And doing this seems to suck all the power and importance out of that thought. And the resulting feelings are not as strong as your mind will move on to one other mundane thought a lot faster. Okay. And this brings you back to your default position of inner peace, as well as the silence that you crave without you even trying. Okay. So I really hope that you will try this today because, friend, we all need and want and deserve this lasting peace with or without constant silence. So I really want you to try this and leave me a comment today, letting me know how it helps you. And then you can join me next Monday, where I'm going to be sharing all of my top intimacy habits to keep your relationship exciting and hot. All right? Okay, friend, have a fantastic day, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. Bye bye.